Mm. Salute to the nation, man. Salute to the nation. Salute to the nation. Salute to S Freak, man. S Freak in the building. My apologies to everybody that dropped off. Salute to everybody that's still in the building. Deshaun in the building. That's the homie. Long time no see. Big Deshaun in the building for this 3 a.m. live stream. Wow. Oh, you caught you want to watch some other streams? That's good. Gotta clip them other streams up, man. Some of them other streams, these recent streams have been gold, man. Gotta clip them up. Yeah, stream from multiple channels. Yeah, yeah, man. I'm out here streaming from multiple channels, man. I'm out here streaming from multiple channels. Yeah, boy. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. You talking about? Let me tell you, man. The kids, man. Shout out to the kids. Shout out to the grandparents. Shout out to everybody out there, man. Watching, man. Wherever you're watching it. Uh, Shout out to everybody watching wherever you're watching it. Mm. Yeah, man, we got a great show for you guys. Only you guys. Show is only for you. Only for you. Only you. Make me do the things you do. Man. Yeah, man. All right. So, got that. We got that. Mm. Where's that at? Yeah, there we go. I want to start tonight's show with this, man. Thank you for hitting the like button, man. Thank you for smashing that like button.
Sick of y'all. Loud, obnoxious group of people.
Black fatigue is real.
I have white fatigue.
Are 50 things that have given me white fatigue.
It's not racism, it's accountability.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about fatigue because everybody is tired. You've probably heard the term black fatigue floating around. Now there's also white fatigue, but what do these terms actually mean? We're going to be breaking that down today, but before we start, subscribe.
More and more black people are starting to speak up. They're starting to speak up on the community, and I don't blame us because we tired. See, what a lot of people don't understand is that there's a huge difference between regular black folk and ninjas. Ninjas want to stay in their horrible environments. They have no self-respect and no self-control. They go around unaliving, essaying, stealing, robbing. They don't care about each other. They don't take care of their neighborhoods, and they definitely don't take care of themselves. Smelling like an overwhelming odor of marijuana, and of course they the victim. They still complaining about something that happened 400 years ago, way before their time, way before their parents' time. And then we got regular black folk. We take pride in our community. We are hardworking, ambitious individuals who definitely want to be segregated from all that nonsense. Our demeanor and our appearance speak value. We understand that there's a time and a place for our behavior. And most of all, we respect one another. We are not victims. So yes, black fatigue is really real.
All right, so as you heard, the real issue here is not race, it's behavior and mindset. A lot of black creators you will hear from today are not fed up with being black or other black people in general. They're simply tired of the chaos, of the entitlement, and the total lack of accountability that's constantly being defended by identity politics. And I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the term black fatigue or white fatigue. It does sound like you are trying to write off an entire racial group. But if people are noticing patterns within their own communities, obviously you should be allowed to point that out. When black people talk about black fatigue,
So right off the bat, she's better than everybody else, and she has more virtue than you. Press one. She's more virtuous than you. She's better than you, and she's more sympathetic and understanding of others than you are. She just wants you to know that, just in case you didn't know. Just in case you didn't know.
They're talking about the exhaustion from having to defend dysfunction because that person happens to be the same race. It's about the expectation to excuse lawless, violent, disrespectful behavior in the name of Black culture, which again is a term that is thrown around way too loosely. And how many nationalities, cultures, and values exist within the Black race alone? Within any race. That's another thing I don't like. French, Polish, Norwegian, they don't all share one culture. Same thing with like Jamaican and Nigerian. That's why I'm not a fan of the white fatigue and Black fatigue and also Black culture and white culture. There's no one culture for a whole race.
White people attempting to read.
So right here, she's letting you know that it'll be very hard to have a conversation with her. You can't just make small talk with her. No. Don't you dare come up to her just trying to shoot the shit, man. She gonna get deep on you, man. Don't mention anything. Now you can say MAGA, or you can say white supremacists, and she'll know what the hell you're talking about. When you say Black culture, Black fatigue, you got to think about everything, every single aspect of life, down to like fucking amoebas and single cell organisms, all the way up to chemical reactions in clouds. Before you dare say that, you have Black fatigue. You have to analyze everything. This is such a fun person to be around.
In the name of Black culture, which again is a term that is thrown around way too loosely. And how many nationalities, cultures, and values exist within the Black race alone? Within any race. That's another thing I don't like. French, Polish, Norwegian, they don't all share one culture. Same thing with like Jamaican and Nigerian. That's why I'm not a fan of the white fatigue and Black fatigue and also Black culture and white culture. There's no one culture for a whole race.
White people attempting to rebrand white rage by co-opting the term Black fatigue as though it's a phenomenon they actually experience but only recently found the language to talk about is both dystopianly weird and tragically on brand. The copying, the whitewashing, the centering themselves by playing victim. The term Black fatigue has been used by Black people for quite a while.
And still is.
Mary Frances Win.
Yo, if you put this woman in any Black neighborhood and you don't put her behind some plexiglass at a carryout, she's the most likely person to get assaulted. Period. She's literally the most likely target for random assault in any Black neighborhood. And I'm not saying that other people don't get assaulted randomly, but I'm talking about most times there's a objective there. Like you may be getting robbed, you may be getting argued with or fussed with, and then things go left. You may be getting your home invaded. You may something. But when we're talking about just somebody coming up and sucker punching somebody, of every single person on planet Earth, this Asian female is the most likely person to get randomly sucker punched in a Black neighborhood. And it's not even close.
Winters wrote a book that came out in 2020 titled Black Fatigue, and it describes the mental, emotional, and physical exhaustion that Black people experience because of systemic racism. When white people talk about experiencing Black fatigue, they are not talking about a harm that they experience because of Black people or anybody else. They are literally telling on their own inability to live in society with Black people. And that's not new either. That's a pathology that has existed for hundreds of years, but call it what it is. white rage.
Okay. See, it's a little bit racist, I think, to assume that all black people feel the same way about this issue.
But it's not racist to think that all white people have rage towards black people. It's not racist to think that all white people have rage. This is white rage. Look how happy she is listening to this Asian woman talk shit about white people. Look how happy she is. She's so happy. So pleased. She thinks she's so superior too. Underneath her, I'm gonna, save the black people shit. She thinks she's so superior to black people. And she may be, who knows?
White rage.
Okay. See, it's a little bit racist, I think, to assume that all black people feel the same way about this issue. You can't even fathom a black person.
Yeah, but if you go on Twitter, literally 90% of black people, most every issue in the black community is a 90-10 issue. If you go on Twitter, if the news channel does a survey, if you do your own survey, if you go on Facebook, almost every issue in the black community, whichever side the black community lies on it, is usually a 90-20 issue. They turn every single issue into a 90-10 issue. Every one of them. Not some. Every single debate or issue in the black community is a 90-10 split. Whichever side black people are on. It's the darndest thing. Everybody continue to smash that like button. We starting to get some numbers in here, man. Starting to wake the people up, man. You starting to wake the people up, man. We still gonna give y'all a great show, man. Even though we're a little late. Just a little bit. You could tell this woman's used to be in maybe not the smartest person in the room, but the most educated person in the room of people who subscribe to all these bullshit leftist ideologies. She rarely goes around people that don't already believe everything that she believes. And of those groups, she probably feels like, well, I went to college and I got degrees, so I'm the most versed in all of this, these views that we all share.
Person disagreeing with the mainstream narrative, which is that, oh yes, we're all oppressed because of our skin color. Everybody else is at fault. Evil cops, evil white people, blah, 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 blah. Isn't that a bit racist? To assume every black person is gonna think the same way? Especially when you can take a look at this trend and who's talking about it and use your...
No, this very small group of black people. Black fatigue, The people talking about that, the black people talking about they have black fatigue is an infinitesimally small group of people. First of all, it's a small group of black people on the internet. There's probably nobody who didn't make a video who has black fatigue in the way that these people are expressing it. Yeah, there's black people who have black fatigue, but not in the way that these people are expressing it. They hate white people more than they have black fatigue. The people online just have black fatigue. It has nothing to do with white people. The people making videos online, they have black fatigue. The black people, they have black fatigue, and it's just the way they feel. And they could care less what a white person feels. The typical black person, no matter how bad the black community is, hates white people more and wants to stick it to white people more than they want to fix their community and change the dynamics in their community. And they resent white people more than they want to do that too. And they're obsessed with white people and blaming white people for everything. And oh yeah, they tired of all the shooting. And oh yeah, they wish these niggas would stop putting trash everywhere. And oh yeah, they wish these niggas wouldn't be so fucking loud. But white people still suck, and they oppressed us, and we shall overcome, and gives me my stuff. So she doesn't understand that how small the group of non niggas is. Niggas ain't just carjackers and shit. Niggas is their mamas and their cousins, their uncles that'll come and protest after this nigga shoot at a cop and get. And the nigga could shoot at the cop, the bullet could ricochet off a pole, come back and hit his ass in the head. And niggas are still protest.
Brain and see, oh, it's mostly black people. Let me come up with another argument.
It's not racist, and I know y'all have been told this is racist, but it's not. It's not racist to call black people out for their behavior and what they're doing to society at this moment. I'm tired of y'all too, but everybody, the world is getting sick of y'all and y'all's bullshit.
Black fatigue, or ghetto fatigue, is a real thing, and no one's staying silent about it any longer. No nationality wants to be involved or bothered by this loud, obnoxious group of people. No one, not even hard-working black Americans. They have mastered the victim card. Everyone's against them. There's oppression everywhere, and it's always the white man's fault, never their own. And you can call me all the Uncle Toms that you want, but the fact that you're calling me that shows me that I'm saying something with facts. And you wonder why most good black people move out of those communities as soon as they reach success. It's because
I'd like to know what she thinks about the fact that black people always move out of their communities when they acquire success or they acquire means. I would love. I hope she addresses that, man. I really do hope she addresses that. Like, just what are her thoughts on that? How's she going to explain that away?
Because they want more for themselves. They hate to look at themselves in the mirror because they would have to face the fact that they're causing their own oppression. You also have the Democrat Party to thank for spoon feeding that behavior. And you still vote blue no matter who.
Exactly, and people are especially tired of the rich black celebrities who are crying oppression from their Beverly Hills mansions while scolding other black people who may disagree politically, especially, that they're not black enough. The idea that you have to act a certain way or speak a certain way or dress a certain way to actually be black, that is insulting. It's just another form of control. It boxes people in, and you can't scream equality and then shame your own community when someone dares to ask for higher standards.
But America is tired, and people have
Okay, I have to give this white woman credit for that. I have to give her credit. I have to give credit where it's due.
grown numb to your constant cry of racism. Everyone's a racist who doesn't agree with you. But meanwhile, you can be bigots to everybody else. Black fatigue or ghetto fatigue is real.
Oh, white fatigue.
No. I'm just going to
Pause. I'm gonna stop you right there. You're not white. You're black. Redheads are black. But then I remember that they were actually.
That's not true. Well, maybe she's joking. Maybe she's joking as a redhead. As a ginger, she might be joking.
Then I remember that they were actually excommunicated from the black community.
I'm gonna say it straight like this, bro. All y'all little white people with red hair, y'all ain't welcome over here, bro. Like, on some real y'all ain't black. I don't give a damn. Y'all ain't none of that, bro.
It was short-lived, but let's hear him out.
respond without a comment here to post or a video because I don't really care what they have to say, and I'm not going to give them air to breathe on my page. But I have white fatigue. Yeah, I said it. I have white fatigue. I am so fatigued of the history of selfish, greedy white people. White fatigue is a thing, even coming from the white people. I am so fatigued by you.
Now, here's my thing. If a white person is white fatigue, fine. I'm not here to argue with anybody who says they have white fatigue. The only thing is we've been hearing about white fatigue ad nauseum every single day for all of our lives. So this guy, it's funny how it would be a low IQ ginger that would say something like this. White fatigue is every single day, is expressed, is elaborated on, is pontificated about, is bantered about in the halls of the universities, in barbershops, in hair salons. In think groups, in news station production rooms, in Hollywood production rooms, in Congress. White fatigue has been bandied about constantly. So for this low IQ ginger to act like he's being cool by saying, oh, I have white fatigue. Man, everybody's been talking about white fatigue forever. How much white people suck. How much white people are colonizers and they come in and they ruin everything and they kill everybody, yada, yada, yada. And they, they're the worst people ever. And they're the cause of every other group's problems. People have been talking about that forever. You're not saying anything novel, you fucking low IQ ginger. This is a terrible response to black fatigue. White fatigue is constant. White fatigue, this whole black fatigue, white fatigue thing is like me taking a rock and throwing it at the Rocky Mountains. Okay? Black fatigue lasted a week. White fatigue is literally taught in universities. White fatigue is taught in first grade. Hollywood, literally every commercial, every movie is subtly teaching you white fatigue.
White fatigue. Oh, it's a thing. It's a thing.
Great points. Amazing points.
This is why black fatigue is growing.
I need my money's worth, dog. I need my money's worth. That's very that's very wild, though. Come on. That is very wild,
Walmart do better. This is the prime example for why we don't have nice things in black areas. You come in the store, you open up, you eat in the store. We can't have anything nice because y'all do like this. Prime reason for why Walmart ain't 24 hours anymore. As black people, we find a way to ruin things for everyone else, even other black people. But that's because we don't want to fix the culture. We don't want to fix the problem. We want to sit back and sweep it underneath the rug and say it doesn't exist.
The black people getting on and co-signing the black fatigue to make white people feel better could not be me. Imagine agreeing with white people when they aren't even picking you.
Again, you're the one who is assuming that all of these black creators, they're only talking about these issues because they're chasing the approval of white people. It's impossible for a black person to not follow the script. Now, that said, there are, of course, going to be people who misuse this term black fatigue in bad faith because not everyone throwing it around is interested in taking accountability or growth. Some will just see it as a convenient excuse to express their own prejudice because unfortunately, there are people who judge others solely by the color of their skin, not their actions, and no buzzword should be able to mask that. So if you're using black fatigue or white fatigue or any race fatigue as a blanket excuse to demonize an entire race, then you're not engaging in honest critique. You're just hiding behind a trendy term. And that should be called out as well. But like I said, most of these people who are talking about this are black people. And they're not even out here saying, I hate my race, I hate being black, I hate every other black person. They are simply talking about entitlement fatigue, chaos fatigue, victimhood fatigue.
I too would be annoyed if I were half the age of black women but looked twice as old as them.
And that has to do with this trend how? That's how you know you have no argument. You have to resort to that.
Black fatigue is a thing. Newsflash, white people don't want to live around ratchet black people. And black people don't want to live around ratchet black people. I mean, it's nothing like going to the Walmart on a Sunday morning and then you see the bonnet crew walk in. Loud, obnoxious, the kids are everywhere, in every aisle, unattended. And that's anywhere you go. And always the victim of something. Either you stepped on a shoe, you looked at them wrong, you told them good morning. They're never happy, they're never satisfied. And you wonder why normal, good black people move out of the hood as soon as they start getting successful. I was one of those black people that said, man, if I made some money, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna buy up this, buy up that. I'm gonna support the community. As soon as I got my money, I got the out of there because they don't know how to appreciate good shit. And my suburban kids don't need to be dealing with that bullshit. Crab in a barrel mentality. Never take accountability for nothing. So yeah, black fatigue is a thing.
They want to go back to a time when they could be disrespectful and racist to black people without consequence. And to that I say, since they are so fatigued by how black people are moving, I say to my black people, put your foot on the gas. Keep your feet on their necks.
Okay, so she argues.
Now that's a woman. This is a typical black woman. Like this woman, her reasoning and her rationale. It's like literally 90% of black women that process this like that. I hate to say. Like if you were just to like, and they process it like this, even if they're smarter than this. Like even when they're smart enough to know to not process it like that. And when I say process it like that, I'm talking about her A to B linear, brutish thinking about it. I'm not talking about, what side of the aisle she lies on. what side of the issue she comes out on. I'm talking about the way she came to her conclusion is just strictly on race and strictly emotional, offended by the thought of the term, and staunchly resistant to it because she's offended by it without analyzing it. And then she decides, she comes to the conclusion that the best way to go forward is to double down out of spite. 90% of black women process the world through that lens. And it just is what it is. And I know this Ginger's probably going to say that, you know, how dare I say that? That's bigoted and that's wrong. But they just do.
Because the original meaning referred to black people's exhaustion from systemic racism, that what, we can't listen to these concerns? Terms get challenged, meanings can change over time, especially when the people that are supposedly represented by this term are speaking up and saying we're not tired of being black, we're tired of the dysfunction being labeled as our culture.
Talk about Shiloh Hendrix, the woman who called a 5-year-old a racial slur. My first impression after watching the video, a little bit of white trash. I have to be honest, the kid was 5. I have worked with 5-year-olds for the last 15 years. Absolutely everything they do is out of pocket.
Okay, so she's talking about Shiloh Hendrix. You guys may know
We still haven't seen the kid. We still haven't seen the parents. And the kid pictured in the video would have been the tallest 5-year-old in the history of the world. Would have been Yao Ming at 5.
take on that situation?
Realize why so many people are wanting to defend this, because black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior, entitlement, the victimhood, that they want to praise this woman. But what she did is not praiseworthy.
And what it should be called is fatigue, because even black people have fatigue. You understand? The ghetto ratchet bullshit, all the random acts of violence that people want to ignore because it's black on black.
Yeah, I would love to see what this Ginger thinks about the random act of violence. I hope she see, the thing about it, she can't talk about the random acts of violence. She can't talk about that because, you know, that's not polite society. You know, in university educated whites like her, you know that random acts of violence are because white people suck, and everything white people have done to cause black people to randomly act violently. So I doubt that she's gonna even touch the random acts of violence. And the over like arching cloud of criminality that hovers not like a cloud but hovers like fog over the black community,
which they also want to ignore. It's a lot of degenerate going on between both races, though, especially with the Carmelo Anthony thing. That was some degenerate punk bullshit. As far as like Shiloh Hendrix, she's trash. I'm sorry, she's trash. If they want to get behind trash, that's on them. But I don't blame them because they just saw a bunch of people who look like me get behind a trash person too.
Right, it was a response to the stabbing, but again, not a fan of donating to and clapping for a woman calling a child the N-word because he acted like one.
Here are 50 things that have given me white fatigue, and the list could go on, but here are just 50. Karen's calling the police on black people for just existing, mass shooters being
Karen's calling the police on white people for just existing. The lion's share of cop calls on black people are made by black women. Very rarely does a white woman call the cops on a black person. Okay? They're very rarely around. Like in the hood, when the lion's share of the crime is committed, in the black community, where the lion's share of the crime was committed, the Karen is not the one that calls the cops. She's usually not there. She's usually a black woman. And because many of the calls are domestic, and the majority of black men are in relationships with black women, regardless of what we may think, the lion's share of those calls are made by black women. Yes, the viral calls, Central Park Karen, Barbecue Becky, things like that, yeah. But that makes up an infinitesimally small percentage of all the 911 calls made on black people. Those interactions happen very rarely. And in those cases, they debunk several myths that, white people are going around marauding, lynching, running roughshod over black people. No. If a white person has an issue with a black person, they usually try to bring in a third party to diffuse it. Press 1. If a white person has an issue with a black person, they almost always try to bring in a third party with authority to intercede and adjudicate the issue. I'd like to speak to your manager. I'm calling the police. I'm telling the librarian. I'm going to get the security guard. I want to speak to your boss. Most white people attempt to have someone, a third party, adjudicate the dispute. And because of that, black people have labeled that as being a form of violence towards them. When in that same case, most black people resort straight to physical or verbal violence. Black people resort to physical or verbal violence in disputes with white people, and white people attempt to have a third party, most often a third party with authority in the situation, i.e. the librarian, i.e. the mall security guard, i.e. a police officer, i.e. the manager, to come adjudicate the dispute. It just is what it is. And black people, the majority of the time, resort to physical or verbal violence to adjudicate the dispute. Which one would you rather have? Let's just be honest. Which one would you rather have? Would you have me threatening to kick your ass and ultimately assaulting you and destroying the store or destroying whatever location we're at and cause the big melee? Or would you rather me call a third party authority to come intercede?
Are 50 things that have given me white fatigue, and the list could go on, but here are just 50. Karen's calling the police on black people for just existing, mass shooters being described as troubled young men.
Okay, fair enough, but I think there are Karens from every race. The media also waits quite a while when the criminal is not white. If they don't immediately describe the person, it's very, very likely that person was not white.
Cultural appropriation without any appreciation. White people in locks talking about spirituality.
Are we still pretending only one group borrows from others? Because I've seen plenty of stray blonde wigs worn by black women if you only want want your culture to be appreciated by your own people, you better stop using iPhones or speaking English or eating sushi or doing yoga. All these things that are
or writing. Reading. It don't even got to be that deep. The literal act of writing and reading is cultural appropriation for Black people. Drinking fresh water is literally cultural appropriation for Black people. Okay? We don't have to get into using a microwave or chat GBT or literally writing is cultural appropriation. Reading is cultural appropriation if you're Black. No Black civilization, sub-Saharan civilization, had a written script.
that are incredibly popular, regardless of race, because people are allowed to share things from their cultures. As long as you're not mocking it, what is the issue?
All lives matter. I don't see color.
In an ideal world, we wouldn't focus on race every 5 seconds. But today's culture forces it into everything, even things that have nothing to do with race.
White creators becoming famous for watered down versions of Black culture, profiting off of Black trauma on social media, weaponizing white tears.
I don't even know what this means because a lot of creators profit off of their own trauma and other people's trauma in general. It's not exclusive to one group. A lot of people do that to get clicks.
White savior complexes in real life and movies.
Okay, I get the critique and I agree with her. But think about it though. What do you want? Supportive white people to just shut up and Venmo you money because they took your 1K anti-racist course? Or when they don't do that, when they disagree with that nonsense, you drag them either way. So you can't really win.
White teachers punishing Black students for being disruptive.
Well, if the student is being disruptive, they should be punished.
Yeah, and that's another thing that you just can't really fix, man. The fact that she doesn't want the disruptive Black kid to be punished. But if white people are so evil, why would you be shocked that the disruptive student is punished? Because he's usually not punished. He or she is usually not punished. So the evil racist white people, the oppressors, rarely punish your disruptive children. Yet when they do, you're outraged. And then call them the same term you already called them. So when they don't punish your disruptive children, they're evil white racists. And when they do punish your disruptive children, they're even bigger evil white racists.
Sense, you drag them either way. So you can't really win.
White teachers punishing Black students for being disruptive.
Well, if the student is being disruptive, they should be punished, regardless of their race. See, context matters. If you didn't do anything wrong, then yeah, that's an issue. But we're just supposed to assume because the teacher is white and the student is Black, then he could do no wrong. She is a racist bigot, and every single Black student ever is well behaved. Do you not see the issue here?
White people going viral for dances Black people made.
A white person did a dance that a Black creator did first. I'm glad we have our priorities straight.
White-led DEI training with no actual change.
The DEI modules, that is corporate virtue signaling at its finest. But rich, white, and Black liberals love it because they feel powerful while doing nothing, accomplishing absolutely nothing. Except, I'd argue, even more division.
Screaming reverse racism.
But yeah,
Like
here's the issue. She thinks that DEI stuff hasn't gone far enough. She's not criticizing the white liberals for doing DEI. She's criticizing for them not doing enough DEI. She thinks that their DEI efforts fall short. Gives us more DEI.
It's real. Appropriating AAVE, using it wrong. So do you want money every time like a white teen says slay? Why is it always about race with you? The obsession with controlling black hair. Controlling black hair? I do not care what you do with your hair.
It's not racism. It's accountability. It's one of those to where they are tired. They are fed up to where they have opened their camera and they start confessing the things that agitate them about the black community. We've allowed this to happen because we do not like being held accountable for some of the ignorance, some of the degeneracy, some of the just plain right foolishness that comes out of our community. We refuse to address it. And when we have people who address it, they are called like judgmental. And so now you have white people entering the chat and said, you know what? We're tired of it. We're tired of being called racist for holding y'all accountable to.
Actually, it was the other way. White people started black fatigue. This version of black fatigue, and white people entered the chat. I mean, white people started this version of black fatigue, and black people entered the chat and co-opted it and completely took it over. Completely.
To the ignorant things that's happened. Black people in the comment sections are just like, this is racism, this is this, and this is this. I blame y'all. This is what happens when the black community cry wolf or cry racism in instances that's not racism, to where now we have a hard time knowing the difference between what is actually racism and what is actually accountability.
So what's the solution? Standards, higher ones for everyone, regardless of race. And since everyone's so
Salute to Douglas Chunks, man, coming through with 50 Arc Nation memberships. Make sure you guys support the channel. Help Doug sponsor the show. Doing a great job sponsoring this 4 a.m. live stream. Think about that, man. Salute to Douglas Chunks. Now, this white woman right here says the solution is higher standards. The solution is higher standards. So black people can't fall abysmally short of the mediocre standards set for them now. And this white woman says the solution is higher standards. And I think this is an attempt to be, I think this white woman's done a decent job with this video. I will give her that. She wasn't as bad as I thought she was going to be. I'll give her that. She did a for a white woman and the constraints that she has on herself, because the certain things she can't say in certain places she can't go with this, certain landmines she can't step on. I think she did a good job with this video. Now, the solution is higher standards. Now, here's the thing: higher standards are gonna piss black people off. Okay, and they're gonna fall shorter because they've fallen short of the egregiously, just childlike standards that have been set for them thus far. Us, right? We've fallen so short of those, right? This is the paradox you got dealing with black folk now. So you tried to level the playing field by getting rid of DEI and all the bullshit, welfare and all the allotments and shit and all the free government jobs where the sister go to work, play on the internet for 3 hours, take a 2-hour lunch break, and then come back and play on the internet for 3 hours. and then go home talking about how she's independent and much of a boss bitch she is. You're getting rid of all that stuff, right? However, replacing it with high standards is too much change too fast. You never change too fast. You don't go from just laughably low standards that the people can't meet to removing those standards, leveling the playing field, and then raising the standards high. No, you don't do that. I think leveling the playing field is far enough. Press 1. I think leveling the playing field is far enough for now. I don't think you want to upset the apple cart too much. Sometimes when you change too fast, that's why systems don't work with liberals, because they change things too fast. We go from, oh, we just want to get married. LGBT people just want the right to get married, to some 6'4" fucking weirdo with a wig bowling over your fucking daughter in a field hockey match. And we get there in 5 to 10 years. Because, we just want to get married. That's all. All we want to do is get married. That's the only issue we have. Once you allow us to get married, once you open up marriage to gay people, you won't hear anything from us again. Then 5 years later, it's fucking drag queen story hour and shit. So this woman is doing a very liberal thing, even though she thinks that it's, avant. She thinks that she's coming from a more conservative slant with it, but it's a very liberal thing she's doing.
Standards, higher ones for everyone, regardless of race. And since everyone's so fatigued, maybe go take a nap or have a coffee. That's all for today's video, guys. You let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you think about this term? Also remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can see more videos like this. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
All right. She's a pleasant looking white woman, though. I'll give her that. And she wasn't a moron. I'll give her that.
Black fatigue is really real.
The world is getting sick of y'all.
Loud, obnoxious group of people.
Black fatigue is real.
I have white.
Chaos erupts here in LA County. Widespread immigration raids triggering protests from Paramount to downtown. And tonight, an unlawful assembly has been declared as President Trump announces he will be deploying thousands of National Guard troops here to Los Angeles. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the News at 10. I'm Rick Chambers. Major developments during a second day of violent confrontations between protesters and federal agents who are out on the streets trying to round up undocumented immigrants. As I mentioned, President Trump has ordered 2,000 National Guard members to counter that violence. And that angered Governor Newsom, who said that the move was purposely inflammatory and will only escalate the tensions. We've got team coverage tonight of these raids. KTLA5's Lindsay Pena is in downtown LA. Sky 5 is over the situation as well. But let's go to Chris Wolf. He's in Compton tonight, where the clashes first erupted earlier. Chris?
Rick, unrest in Southern California continues tonight with more clashes between protesters and federal agents and deputies and police over expanding immigration operations. Take a look at the scene behind me. This intersection here in Compton has been the scene of several street takeovers, so it is a hotspot for activity. We've seen continual fireworks going off. The police chopper is overhead. Now President Trump says he is sending the National Guard to this region. Last night we were in downtown Los Angeles, as many viewers may remember. Earlier today we were in Paramount, now Compton, all volatile locations. Chaos and calamity rocked Paramount Saturday on the second day of demonstrations against federal immigration operations in Southern California. KTLA was on the ground and in the air, capturing the explosive environment. The mayor of Paramount says tension escalated after U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, and other federal agents were apparently staging at or near a local Home Depot center.
And ICE is here, terrorizing the community.
Throngs of protesters gathered in the industrial area, sparking more clashes between law enforcement and members of the community. Crowds taunted authorities, with some people going so far as to block a U.S. Marshals Service bus, while others hurled rocks and other objects at law enforcement vehicles, according to the L.A. County Sheriff. Federal agents responded with pepper balls, rubber bullets, tear gas, and flashbangs.
In the last several hours, unfortunately, the crowd.
Here's Trump's opportunity to show how he would have handled the summer of love if he wasn't constrained by COVID and having a campaign and George Floyd and just all the constraints that were upon him during 2020, the summer of love, and all the mistakes he made by not, quelling that, putting that out. He let it simmer, and then it bubbled up, and then it knocked the damn lid off, and then it spilled all over the stove. I'd like to see how Trump is going to handle this one, man. He's got to come down with a firm hand on these people, man. All the protesters and the rioters have to be arrested. Okay? Federally charged, because you can't rely on California to charge them. All of these rioters, people rioting and throwing rocks at ICE agents and interfering with these lawful detentions, all of those people have to be brought to justice federally. Okay? You can't let them off the hook. You can't turn a blind eye to it. You have to prosecute each one of these people. Every single person that's interfering with these detentions, every single one of them needs to be federally charged. You have to do that. Or else you run the risk of having another 2020 on your hands. This thing's spiraling out of control. Start federally charging these rioters now. Send a message while the fire is small. I want to see if Trump's going to do that. I wonder what you guys think, man. I may do that. That may be a good poll question. I want to know what you guys think. Because here's the moment. The moment is now. We're in the moment. It's not tomorrow. It's not a week from now. It's happening right now. I want to know, do you think that Trump is going to handle this? Hold on. Did I? Okay. Okay. I did it wrong. Okay. Oops. Do you think that Trump is going to handle this? Or you think he's going to go soft on him? Or you think he's going to try to find another way? Do you think that Trump thinks that being nice to these fucking whacked out liberals or being lenient to them is going to result in some kind of positive outcome?
Taunted authorities, with some people going so far as to block a U.S. Marshals Service bus, while others hurled rocks and other objects at law enforcement vehicles, according to the LA County Sheriff. Federal agents responded with pepper balls, rubber bullets, tear gas, and flashbangs.
In the last several hours, unfortunately, the crowd has grown. We believe at this time it's at approximately 350, maybe 400. As the crowd has grown,
and that's 350 and 400 people that need to be identified and federally charged with obstructing ICE by Monday. How they should start. Like, I know they probably can't identify everybody, but by Monday, the announcement, Pam Bondi need to have her ass at a podium announcing charges. If not, that's going to be a bad sign. I don't want Pam Bundy to get in front of a podium and threaten anybody. I want her in front of a podium announcing charges.
it has become more violent.
A wooden pallet and then a car went up in flames during the unrest, sending black smoke into the air. The cause of the car fire is unclear. Federal officials say the government is doing its job, enforcing the law, protecting the public, and securing borders. Opponents say this is not justice, but madness, and that hardworking people are being treated like criminals.
Well, they are criminals, and however hard they work, that's just, you don't know how hard the person's working. Like, okay, and if they are working hard, okay, but if I sneak into the movie theater and I'm being quiet, I'm not talking, and I'm not using my cell phone, I'm not even laughing too loud during the funny parts, I'm not man-spreading, I still snuck into the theater. And if the usher finds out, he gets to remove me.
My whole family is scared. Our neighbors. I came out and wanted to see what was all the commotion, and sure indeed.
Damn, this Latina must be from Philly. I tell you, man, very few things are more beautiful than a Latin woman when she is actually beautiful. Unfortunately, it's not as common as you think when you're not on IG. Now, when you're on IG, all the Latin bitches look good. In real life, not so much. That's one rough-looking Latina, man. At least the baby will have good hair.
There were ICE agents.
Yeah, beanbag. Yeah, they threw several beanbags at me.
Your little ass shouldn't have been out there. Your little fucking ass shouldn't have been out there.
I went near them and I said, I'm here for a peaceful assembly.
The Homeland Security sweeps are part of the Trump administration's unparalleled crackdown on illegal immigration. Back here live with a large crowd gathering in Compton. According to ICE, agents arrested as many as 118 people in Los Angeles this week, including 44 during operations in downtown and South Los Angeles on Friday. We'll have more coming up throughout the night. For now, reporting live in Compton, I'm Chris Wolf, KTLA 5 News.
All right, Wolfie, we'll see you at the bottom of the hour. Thanks. From the ground, let's go up to Gil Levis now. He's overhead in Sky 5. Gil?
Well, Rick, we're showing you here Atlantic Boulevard and Alondra Boulevard here. This is the second time today that the LA County Sheriffs have taken back this intersection. As Chris Wolf was just telling you, we see that burned out car in the middle of the intersection here with the law enforcement there. The Sheriff's Department have moved in and retaken the intersection here. Traffic is open on Atlantic, both north and southbound, but Alondra remains closed here. But it was quite a scene here just a short time ago when the county sheriffs here were further back. And let me take you up the street here. They were all the way back by the 710 freeway here when they were struggling with the protesters to get control of this street back. Again, you can see fire department coming into the scene right now, but it looks like a war zone down here. The good news is they've recaptured the intersection here, and it looks like they've so far dispersed the crowd quite a bit here.
Yeah, obviously we're having.
Studio.
All right, Gil, I was just going to ask you, the crowd seems to be diminished considerably. Do you see anybody standing out on the sidelines just watching what's happening?
Yeah, there's quite a few people here at the gas station and down the street here west of Atlantic. You can see the crowd has kind of dispersed because of the activity by the Sheriff's Department. Now, the fire department, not sure why they're rolling into the scene right now. I can tell you there was a small fire that broke out near, in fact, you can see the smoke there still coming up out of this area here along the strip mall. But again, the crowd has moved further west here, and that's good news for people on Atlantic. That's the latest overhead. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Gil, we'll talk to you throughout the hour. Thank you for that. In downtown LA, federal police have established a skirmish line to keep protesters away from a detention center there, which has been targeted over the past couple of nights. Lindsay Pena is live for us in downtown LA with more on that. Lindsay?
Yeah, Rick, we're on Alameda right now, just east of First Street. I'm going to go ahead and step out of the way so you can see what is happening. You mentioned that skirmish line. Officers are starting to move towards us as I speak. Everything started over at the detention center earlier this afternoon. We were there for everything. We saw the confrontation between those demonstrators and the federal officers who came out of the detention building and deployed pepper spray. They deployed the flashbangs, and as you see, we're walking down Alameda now towards First Street. The LAPD officers are pushing us back further away from the detention center. You can see there are still protesters and activists out here right now filming everything that is happening. We also have seen lots of those protesters disperse as they push them further back. We have the chopper overhead right now. Again, this started with federal officers, but LAPD is now on scene. We will continue to stay out here and update you as this situation develops. Rick, I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you in the studio right now.
All right, Lindsay, thank you so much. LA's mayor, Karen Bass, issued a new statement addressing this unrest, and she said in part, quote, "We've been in direct contact with officials in Washington, D.C., and are working closely with law enforcement to find the best path forward. Everyone has the right to peacefully protest, but let me be clear," she said, "violence and destruction are unacceptable, and those responsible will be held accountable."
I don't believe her. I don't believe her. They don't even hold, like, carjackers and robbers accountable. Why would they hold protesters? I don't believe. So yeah, there's that. There's that. That was a blast from the past. Why is my algorithm giving me so much old stuff today?
News to get to this morning. One person dead, another critical after an early morning shooting in North Philadelphia. It happened on Old York Road and Roosevelt Boulevard. Police say a 30-year-old man was shot and killed in what investigators believe was an attempted robbery. A second person showed up at the hospital a short time later. That person listed in critical condition this morning. So far, no arrests. And another shooting in Philadelphia's only section leaves one person dead. This happened just before 5:30 on the 5000 block of North Franklin Street. Police say a 40-year-old man, was shot and killed. No arrests in this one either. Police releasing surveillance video of 3 juveniles wanted in an assault of a woman left with chemical burns. Investigators say the victim told them she was walking down the unit block of South 51st Street in West Philadelphia around 1:30 in the afternoon back on Sunday, July 1st. Home security cameras show her just before the assault happened, but not the actual attack. Police say she told them someone threw a chemical on her, causing severe burns to her face and body.
So they're still calling her she, but they won't tell you that the kids were black. I want you to think about that. They're still calling this man she, but they won't tell you that the kids were black. That threw the acid in her face. Salute to Captain Coke, man. He says, but all these people are half Hispanic or full brown. So they won't do nothing. These Mexicans ran black people out of Watts and Compton. Facts. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. 1,000% right. They ran them niggas up out of there. Ran them out of there. Ran them niggas up out of there. You ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. Get off my block. The coalition, man. That was the black and brown coalition in full effect, man. Embarrassing, man. Burritos ran them niggas up out of there. And they run the jails out there, the prisons. They still ain't get back for Tory Lanez. Press 1. You notice how that Tory Lanez story, no one ever talked about what the retaliation was for that? Niggas was talking about, yeah, man, we got to go get a Mexican, man. The jail's going to go crazy. It's going to be a riot in the jail because of the racial shit. We ain't heard nothing. Nothing about Tory Lanez, man. And none of the bloggers have asked. None of the gangster bloggers have asked that. The gangster bloggers have dropped the ball on the Tory Lanez issue, man. They have it, and I know, man, you trying to start stuff in the jail. No, motherfucker. You said y'all said y'all were going to retaliate for that. You know, the Mexicans stabbed the black. Y'all said that. Man, you trying to start issues. You ain't even in there, man. They ain't out here. They talk about stuff in the streets. They not out here. They in there getting fed and housed. We out here paying bills and shit and struggling to make it. They talk about what's going on out here. Why we can't talk about a issue that's going on in there? The gangster bloggers have dropped the ball on the Tory Lanez story. What happened? If nothing happened, then that's the story. That could be the story. Hey, y'all, there's been no response to Tory Lanez getting stabbed. We the blacks, the politics somehow shook out, and because of the certain politics in this prison or this institution, we're just gonna let it ride. That could be the story. But instead to just ignore it and act like there's no story. I mean, think about it though. Let's talk about this for a second, man. Everybody loved Tory Lanez. Oh man, Megan, man. Man, fuck man, Megan ain't shit, man. Megan. Tory Lanez need to be free, man. Okay. Fine, man. Well, Mexican dude just used him as a pin cushion. Whether he deserved to be in there or not, I don't know. Both sides seem fishy to me. Him and Megan seem fishy to me. I can't just say, oh yeah, he don't belong to be in there. Because he ain't been adamant enough. I'd have snitched on Kelsey so fast. I'm doing 10 years in California State Penitentiary for your big goofy looking ass shooting somebody. Crazy. And all the top guys in the game are snitches. Like literally every fucking dude that's either a creator or a rapper is a snitch right now. Snitching ain't even taboo no more. It ain't even been taboo since like 2020. And he gonna do 10 years because you don't want to tell on some chick who if they found out Kelsey did it, Kelsey would get probation. If it comes to light that Kelsey shot Meg, Kelsey's gonna get probation and like 500 hours of community service. And she'll have to take like a gun safety class and anger management class. The most she'll get is 6 months, and that'll get deferred. The 6 months will be deferred to where she violated her probation. And you're gonna do 10 years in California State Penitentiary to not tell on her. That don't make no sense. You either you shot that girl and she lied because she was on some Black Lives Matter shit and she wanted to stick it to the man more than she wanted to tell on you, or something else happened. But that's neither here nor there, right? Where is the coverage on this story, man? What happened next? I'm a viewer. I followed it. I want to know. Here's the thing, y'all. If I knew what happened, if I had somebody in California state penitentiary that could tell me what happened, I would be fine. But I rely on the bloggers that covering the story that got me interested in it to continue the story to the end. They all just dropped it as if they got a memo. You know how they talk about the mainstream media, how they work in concert on certain issues? It's like the bloggers all just dropped this, man. It's like a memo went around. Like, don't talk about this no more. It's gonna make us look bad. We ain't do shit, so it's gonna make us look bad. Don't drop it, man. Like, let's keep it a buck, man. Diddy gonna be in New York State prison? If the Latin Kings or the Nietas stab up Diddy, treat him like a pincushion. Is the blacks in New York just gonna let that ride? Well, you know, he a freak, man. He a creep, man. Find some reason to let it ride, or is it gonna like be racial? I don't know, because the politics, I'm not familiar with the prison politics. You know, having never been to prison. And even if you have been to prison, it's different by region. It's different by whether it's federal or whether it's state, county. It's different depending on the year, the era. I just want to know is we get did we get back for Tory? Did we turn the yard up? Did the yard go up? Or did we just let it ride? And if we let it ride, what was the reason? And then let us as the people decide whether that reason was valid or not. In our opinion. And yeah, you can say, well, you're not in jail. You don't have to deal with it. That's fine, too. You can say that, too, but still just report on it. Just give it to us, man. Pause. Let us make our determination on what happened with that story. Some people may think Tory Lanez, the blacks should have rolled for Tory Lanez and stabbed a Mexican, or made the yard go up, start a riot. Some people may say, man, the politics say, man, if the riots start here, then it's going to spread throughout the system, and we outnumbered in a lot of institutions. And it's going to lead to a lot of black dudes getting stabbed up and killed because we outnumbered and we're not as strong as them. So we don't want a big deal to start in the California State Penitentiary system over a rich guy, a guy who's rich, who didn't even have to be here. The crime he committed was after he left Kylie Jenner's house. 15 minutes before he allegedly shot this broad that got him here in prison, he was chilling in Kylie Jenner, a billionaire's pool. The girl he shot is a multi-millionaire superstar rapper. So if you want to say, hey, man, this dude, he should have never been here. He's an idiot. And we not going to fucking put the lives of a bunch of gangsters and real niggas in jeopardy because of this idiot that found himself in the fucking prison effing with some silly-ass broads. A guy who lived a fucking charmed life and was not rubbing shoulders with billionaires, but like sleeping with billionaires. And many of us grew up on welfare, was in foster care. We not about to risk our lives for him. He's dumbass, shouldn't be in here. If that's the story, then tell us that. That could be the story. It's just like to completely drop it in nothing. Like we don't get no update. How's Tory doing? Like, what's up? Is he walking? Is he out and about? Does he have injuries that are gonna be lifelong injuries? He got stabbed in the back 7 times, stabbed in the face, in the neck. He got hit up 14 times. What's the latest on that? Was it some of the blacks in the prison wanted to go at the Mexicans and some didn't? Was it a split? Or was everybody like, yeah, nah, we don't want no smoke? Like, what is it? Like, what happened? What did the Mexicans do? The Mexicans like, yo, we'll handle this. We'll take care of the guy who stabbed Tory just to keep the peace. We'll whack him out since he's a pedophile. Since he's a pedophile and a child killer, we'll take care of him. The Mexicans say that. We'll take care of him. He's a pedophile. He's a documented pedophile and child killer. And we'll take care of him for you just to keep the peace. Or do they even have to do that? Is that not necessary? Are they too strong where they know they only had to do that? And he's like, man, fuck it. And what? What happened? What was the next? You know, it's like all these bloggers just dropped it. It seemed like they got the word from like maybe some big wig in prison, sent out a word to like the top bloggers, like, yo, drop this shit, man. Don't talk about that shit, man. Shit gonna cause too much tension in the penitentiary, man. We just trying to move forward, man. We don't want to get into it with these Mexicans, man. There's too many of them in here. They got too much power. Then that's the fucking story. You know? And now we can know, like, shit, if you don't go to jail, if you black, don't go to prison in fucking California, man. That's information, education, man. I just want to know, man. Just interested, man. Very interested in that story. Even more so than the Megan aspect. I wasn't interested in the Megan, whether he shot Megan or not, or Megan lied and all this stuff. And she said she lied from the jump. He said she lied. The first thing she said was, I lied because I didn't want him to get locked up. That's literally the first statement, public statement she gave. I lied. I didn't want him to get locked up. I didn't want the police to come. I didn't want him to get in trouble with the police, so I lied. It's the first thing she said. So we know she lied. But I was more interested in this aspect. Like, a nigga used him as a pincushion. Well, and he's very charitable to guys in prison. Like, he was very, very charitable. Very, 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 very philanthropic in prison. What happened? What did that get him? What did that buy him? You all right, dog? You all right? That's right, man. That's good, man. Shake that shit off. Get in the comments, man. Let me. Hold on. I'm not going. I'm not leaving here. I'm staying here. I just want to let y'all know. I just want to shout out to Captain Coke, man. It's I'm just I'm gonna have to clip this, man, and put this on the internet, man. I would love to know what the next chapter in that story was, man. Let's move along, man.
Another video shows the moments after it happened, which includes two of the juveniles coming from the direction of the attack. Another one comes from a different direction and stops to look that way before they walk off. Police also releasing surveillance pictures from SEPTA showing the trio getting on at the 52nd Street entrance there. Police say they got off at 60th Street. Police also mentioning that the victim was taken by ambulance to Penn Presbyterian, then transferred to Temple's Burn Center. Philadelphia police still searching for two drivers involved in a hit and run that involved a 2-year-old boy. Police saying that this was a hit and run Thursday night around 9 near 33rd and Susquehanna Avenue in Strawberry Mansion. Thankfully, the boy is physically okay, just some scrapes to his hands and his face, but police believe he was hit by someone in a blue SUV and possibly by another driver in a white pickup truck. So if you have any information, certainly give Philadelphia police a call.
A Ridge man is accused of killing his ex-girlfriend. Police say it was all over money. Rebecca Roth was found shot to death inside her vehicle yesterday.
Rebecca Roth killed a white woman. Rebecca Roth, a white woman. If Rebecca Roth is a sister, man, I'm just wrong this time. That sounds like a white girl.
A Ridge man is accused of killing his ex-girlfriend. Police say it was all over money. Rebecca Roth was found shot to death inside her vehicle yesterday morning at the Tall Oaks luxury apartments in Mauritius. The victim's mother spoke exclusively to our News 12's Carmen Grant.
How do you kill a young girl that you hardly know, that has a family?
The mother of Rebecca Roth speaking exclusively to News 12 about her daughter's murder. The 33-year-old victim was found shot to death in her car Friday morning.
Hold on. I thought she said he hardly knew her.
Morning outside her apartment here at the Tall Oaks luxury apartments in Mauritius. James Quinachetta of Ridge is accused of shooting her. Police say he shot at Roth 7 times.
Took her right by surprise. Boom, boom, boom. 5 shots. He put 5 shots in my baby.
The victim's mother says she was on her way to work that morning when she found her daughter dead inside her vehicle.
Wow. She went to work and she found her daughter dead in the vehicle. That's crazy. You imagine if this story was reversed? This story was reversed, man. I'm not saying it would be a major news, but it just wouldn't be like reporting like this benign reporting like this. There'll be some sauce on the reporting. Was it a hate crime? Is it wailing, and the mother wouldn't be standing by the door. She would have like 30 people with her in bow ties and shit, demanding answers and shit. Now, I'm not saying it would be on CNN or nothing like that. I'm not saying that. I think we moved past that. But Jesus, this son man just came up and whacked this glider woman in broad daylight, gangland style.
Apartments in Mauritius. James Quinachetta.
What would have happened if this would have happened in 1900s, in the early 1900s? What would have been the response if this would happen in the early 1900s? You know, like he did it. Ain't no mystery. Like ain't no mystery. This nigga did it.
Ridge is accused of shooting her. Police say he shot at Roth 7 times.
Took her right by surprise. Boom, boom, boom. 5 shots. He put 5 shots in my baby.
The victim's mother says she was on her way to work that morning when she found her daughter dead inside her vehicle.
And the cops that came through patrolled the area. How could they not have seen the glass all over the ground? How could they have not seen the holes in our windows?
Misguided anger towards the cops, man. Listen, man. Your daughter dated that guy. She brought violence around that. Your daughter brought a madman, a low IQ chimpanzee with a gun into the neighborhood. This guy, thank God he only hit your daughter. When this guy got a gun and he's mad, that's dangerous for everybody in the vicinity. Your daughter did that. She brought him into the picture. These people would have never had to deal with this son, man, if your daughter didn't date him. And the police brought him into custody. He killed the white girl, and the police brought him into custody without incident.
Shooting her. Police say he shot at Roth 7 times.
Took her right by surprise. Boom, boom, boom. 5 shots. He put 5 shots in my baby.
The victim's mother says she was on her way to work that morning when she found her daughter dead inside her vehicle.
And the cops that came through patrolled the area. How could they not have seen the glass all over the ground? How could they have not seen the holes in our windows? That's horrible. That's because this place is not secure.
She says her daughter Rebecca had been dating Quinichetta for a short time before she broke up with him.
I was like fatally attracted to her for some reason. It was only 3 months.
Prosecutors say he turned himself into police. Today, Quinichetta appeared before a judge on a second-degree murder charge. Prosecutors say he shot and killed Roth because she owed him $1,500. Residents in the development are stunned.
Over $1,500. That's cruel. Happy to hear that.
But it wasn't over $1,500. That's just what he said. They're dealing with that as this fact. It was over because he probably was obsessed with her. The obsession probably had more to do it than the $1,500. He probably lying about that. He's probably using that as an excuse. That woman probably didn't owe him nothing. That woman, did they verify that she owed him $1,500? But this is shoddy reporting, man. You know, the babblings of a psychopathic criminal son, man. Man, she owed me money, man. Like, how do we know that? Mom said he was obsessed. He fatally attracted to her. They was only dating for 3 months. She broke it off. How do we know he owed her 50? She owed him 1,500. But how do we know it's just not some shit he said to justify it to himself? Or that he think, it did get him second-degree murder. Because they're not charging him with capital murder. He walked up and executed her in public. That seemed like capital murder or first-degree murder. So he did get second-degree murder. It might have worked, but maybe, I don't know, but maybe if they find out that that's not actually true, later on they'll up the charges to first-degree murder, because this was cold-blooded he stalked her, ambushed her. He knew what time she was going to work in the morning. So he probably stalked her, ambushed her, and blew her brains out in cold blood. That doesn't sound like second-degree murder to me.
Had been dating Quinichetta for a short time before she broke up with him.
I was like fatally attracted to her for some reason. It was only 3 months.
Prosecutors say he turned himself into police. Today, Quinichetta appeared before a judge on a second-degree murder charge. Prosecutors say he shot and killed Roth because she owed him $1,500. Residents in the development are stunned.
Over $1,500. That's cruel. Happy to hear that he's, not on the streets and can't do this to somebody else.
Meanwhile, many here are pointing to the lack of security in the housing complex.
If we had security driving around, I don't think somebody would just in cold blood.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, they would. Yeah, they would. Of course they would. Of course they would. Of course they would. Of course they would, man. Security not going to stop that. Of course they would. Of course someone would shoot someone if you had security driving around, a little security car with some fat gay black woman driving around in a goddamn Celica with security printed on the side of it. Yeah, they would still shoot somebody with that. They still would. They of course they would, woman.
Run up to a car and murder somebody. You get what I'm saying? It would have been a deterrent.
Prosecutors say if convicted, the defendant faces 25 years to life in prison. Carmen Grant.
The biggest problem was her dating that nigga. Not security, not lack of security. You wouldn't have needed no security if she wouldn't have dated that nigga.
An unsettling find in a Queens yard. Neighbors say they found this duct-taped phone with the camera lenses exposed. All of this happening in the Forest Hills neighborhood. And as Christy Kalishian explains, it's part of a trend we've seen across the country.
The device was located right here, back up against that brick.
Mary Kehoe's talking about this, what looks like an Android phone covered in black tape with only its camera exposed. She found outside of her Forest Hills home of 35 years in late May. She called police, who took the device and say it was a phone connected to a charger buried in her lawn.
Why us? I had lots of things going through my head as to why they chose our lawn, but realizing we are in the middle of the block.
We've seen this before in California, Massachusetts, and even locally in New Jersey and Scarsdale, where police say devices illegally surveilling neighborhoods are hidden in lawns, tracking down neighbors' patterns, waiting for the chance to burglarize their homes.
Put your alarms on, put lights on, and be aware. And we're a nice little block here that we look out for one another. So when people do go away, they let us know so we can take a walk down their driveway or make sure everything is safe.
She and her neighbors also urge homeowners to keep an eye out for any unfamiliar hidden devices on their property. They also have some choice words for those who may want to do this again. If you're watching this neighborhood, it's watching you too.
Don't come back to our neighborhood or any neighborhood because we are now watching, and all the other neighborhoods are aware of what is going on.
The NYPD says the investigation is ongoing and that no arrests have been made at this time. They encourage anybody.
You better watch your butt, mister. Jesus Christ.
Court documents reveal new details about the murder of a Denton County woman. Lavera Wardell was found dead inside an apartment near Edward.
Oh, wow. We tied up. And just like that, the score is tied. We're knotted at 1 apiece.
Court documents reveal new details about the murder of a Denton County woman. Lavera Wardell was found dead inside an apartment near Edwards Road and Colorado Boulevard in Denton nearly 3 weeks ago. Well, this week, police apprehended her fiance, William Otto, charged him with murder and tampering with evidence. Fox Sports' Peyton Yeager has more about the investigation. Peyton.
William Otto with the bucket from deep. We're knotted up again. One. It's a barn burner. Nice neighborhood, man.
Police apprehended her fiance, William Otto, charged him with murder and tampering with evidence. Fox Sports' Peyton Yeager has more about the investigation. Peyton.
Heather, and in this case, Denton investigators really had to nail down the complete timeline. The victim's family told me today over the phone that the couple lived together in their Denton apartment. The suspect arrested earlier this week. Police say he did confess to the murder during his police interview. New disturbing details from an arrest affidavit reveal 52-year-old William Otto admitted to detectives he shot and killed his fiancée inside their Denton apartment. Police say he tried to clean up the blood and cover up the smell while he laid next to her for 3 days before eventually taking off towards Texarkana. On May 19th, Denton police received a call from the Timberlinks apartment complex near I-35E and State School Road, claiming a foul odor was coming from a unit. Officers entered and found 39-year-old Lavera Wardell dead from a gunshot wound to the head. Gabby Williams lives at the complex.
It's honestly heartbreaking, and I don't know how it was right above the office. It's the penthouse above the office, and it's right next door to the gym.
Wardell's family confirms to Fox 4 the couple's apartment was above the leasing office. Investigators noticed blood had been scrubbed off the floor and the walls, later obtaining surveillance video of Otto purchasing cleaning supplies a week prior. This week, on Monday, detectives tracked Otto to a motel in Mount Pleasant, about 150 miles east of Denton. During a police interview,
Smell got so bad he had to get up out of there, man. He was like, man, fuck this shit. I gotta get up out of here, man. Gotta give me a hotel room. It's funky as shit in this house. Sister, man. Listen, just like I chastised the white woman, let me talk to you, sister. Laverne, whatever your name was, Lavita, y'all at you, man. The fuck was you doing, man? The fuck is this, Lavita? Come on, man. Obvious signs of inbreeding. Like, what the fuck, Lavita?
About 150 miles east of Denton. During a police interview, Otto told police on May 6th he and Wardell got into a fight and, quote, shot Wardell because she ran toward him with a knife. Otto confessed he used a shotgun, which was found at the...
So here's the thing. He said she ran towards him with a knife. Like, of course he's going to say that. Of course he's going to say that. Now, listen, she is a sister. So, like literally could be true. But, of course he's going to say that. He the only one left. Why you ain't call the police after you did it? Hey, man, this bitch came with a knife. I had to shoot her ass.
Knife. Otto confessed he used a shotgun, which was found at the crime scene. Otto also admitted he cleaned up the crime scene because he wanted to lay with Wardell, but then left because the odor became too strong. Otto said he, quote, did not want to talk about the incident with anyone, so he did not call the police.
It was very odd to just like, wait, what happened here? It's horrible. I really feel for her family.
And Denton police confirm there was a history of domestic disturbance calls related to this couple. Otto remains here at the Denton County Jail. He's facing murder and tampering with evidence. His bond is set at $160,000. Stephen, have.
And new tonight, 2 people are recovering from a run-in with a sharp object they couldn't even see until it was too late, a kite string. Alicia Reed spoke to a woman about her harrowing injury, whose friend is still hospitalized over this incident.
It ripped really, really violently.
Jennifer Noble says she's still in pain 5 days after running into a kite string. She was entering the Marine Parkway Bridge on her bike over the weekend when she saw a kite floating in the air and ran into something she couldn't see.
And then it hit my upper lip and my nose, and then it cut through my forehead.
It also cut her helmet's temple strap. She says the force knocked her over backwards, then...
And then I just hear screaming behind me, and it had hit my friend who was behind me in the throat and cut his throat open.
Noble says Good Samaritan sprang into action, bandaged her finger, and applied pressure to her friend Robert Hillebrand's neck.
It looked like a movie, like it looked fake. There was just so much blood.
Hillebrand remains hospitalized. Noble says the entrepreneur has a really long road ahead.
He's not going to be able to work. He's going to have a lot of medical bills.
She believes it
GoFundMe
was a fight kite, where the string is a very sharp, abrasive line, sometimes coated with crushed glass.
It just seems really horrifically, dangerously negligent to have this stuff out there in the world. It tore through me.
The string also cut through the muscle of Noble's index finger. She has since returned to the ER for excessive pain in her ring finger.
It looks like there's bone fragments in the joint, which is why I'm having so much pain now.
She has an appointment to see a specialist on Monday. At Jacob Reese Beach, Alicia Reed.
Fight kite? Fight kite? Oh.
लपेट 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 वो काटा इल्जा ले नीचे कर बस आ गई अबे यार निकल गई अभी दिखाएंगे रुक जाओ कोई शहर नहीं जड़ा
Yo, where the fuck have I been, man? How did I not know about this, man? I want to see some Americans.
呢場隊亞會贏咗1-0嘅。呢場賽就係廣州大新聞繼續對我香港嘅成績嚟鼓啊！夠唔夠啊？夠未啊？
I don't understand it, man. I don't understand it, man. I don't get it, man. Kite fighting is a competitive activity where participants use sharply coated kite strings to cut their opponent's kite string. The goal is to dislodge the other player's kite from the sky. It's a popular pastime in many cultures, often part of the traditional festivals and competitions. The string attached to the kite is typically coated with a sharp substance, often glass or metal powder, to cut through other strings. Competitors aim to get their kite into a position where they can cut the opponent's string, often by maneuvering the kite to fly above or below the other's kite. Winning, the player who successfully cuts their opponent's string or dislodges the kite from the air is declared the winner. Safety concerns. Injury risk. The sharp strings used in kite fighting can pose safety risks, potentially causing injuries to people or animals. There's legal issues. In some locations, kite fighting with sharp strings may be regulated or even illegal due to safety concerns. All right. Wow. Kite fighting. Jesus. Oh yeah, our buddy, man.
Turning now to developing news on the search for Travis Decker. He's the father of 3 young Wenatchee girls found murdered after they were first reported missing 8 days ago. Decker is accused in their killing. Last night, Governor Bob Ferguson activated National Guard resources to help in the manhunt for Decker. He also commented on the ongoing search efforts, saying, quote, "At the request of the Chelan County Sheriff's Office, we will be providing helicopter transportation for law enforcement as they search in remote areas." He went on to say, "The brutal murder of these young children has shocked our state. I'm committed to supporting law enforcement as they seek justice for Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia." The ongoing manhunt through Washington state is now going international. Detectives say the 32-year-old recently searched for more information on how to relocate to Canada. Circling up above.
Helicopters going back and forth.
This is what campers at Icicle River RV Resort have been seeing in the air and on the ground.
There's been a police presence, and last night, late at night, there was a searchlight down on the water, so I know the police were searching here.
They're searching for 32-year-old Travis Decker after his daughters Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia failed to come home after a planned visitation with him. Their bodies were later found near his abandoned pickup truck. Investigators now believe he could be attempting to cross state lines or even international borders.
I personally don't think he'd be coming out in public.
Fox 13 obtained this criminal complaint against Decker, charging him with unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. In it, federal investigators say Decker used his Google account on May 26, just 4 days before his visitation with his daughters, to search for information about relocating to Canada and visited official Canadian job sites. The documents state the area where the crimes happened are near the Pacific Coast Trail and lead into Canada. And given Decker's former Army skills to survive the woods for days, even weeks, investigators say he could be actively attempting to not get caught. For Lisa Malone Gooden, she hopes authorities find Decker soon.
This is horrendous. Nothing like most people would ever hear about or experience.
Investigators say anyone who sees him is urged not to approach him and instead call 911. Right now, support is pouring in for the girls' mother. A GoFundMe is set up to help her with expenses and legal costs following the unimaginable loss of her 3 young daughters. So far, it's raised more than $1 million. You can find the link to our website at fox13seattle.com.
An Atlanta News First investigation into a presidential executive order that could impact your children.
President Trump claims the move will restore discipline in the classroom, but as investigative reporter Andy Parati found, critics argue it could lead to harsher punishments to students of color and those with disabilities.
If their ears are raised like that, then they're comfy.
Nothing brings more joy to Elijah Coleman than animals.
That's a girl, by the way, and that's a boy.
Including his pet rabbits, Onyx and Oatmeal.
Like oatmeal pie.
His mother, Tonisha, says he wants to be a veterinarian one day.
Ever since he was a little boy, I've always seen the love that he has when he holds them, when he interacts with them, and it just really takes him to a happy place.
Damn, the white man that came and destroyed this young man's love of bunnies, man. White people, man. White people, y'all suck, man. Interfering with this man's love of bunnies.
But Elijah's parents worry his dream could be out of reach after his school expelled him last year, setting him back academically. It happened last year at Loganville Middle School in Walton County, Georgia. According to a lawsuit filed by his parents against the district, Elijah and a classmate were caught with a vape pen. His classmate, according to Elijah, given in-school suspension, was white. Elijah kicked out for the same offense.
But what about the other students that...
Why you snitching? Why you snitching? If this was reversed, if the white student got off easy and the white mother was on TV, I mean, if the black student got off easy and the white mother was on TV, was like, yeah, but why did the black student not get in trouble too? How would that sound? That would sound problematic, man. It would be problematic, man. Should be a Karen. Worry about your own kids. And what's the reason? I want to know the reason why the black kid got harsher discipline. Was he more complicit in the act? Like, did they like? It's like yeah. If I kill somebody and you give me a ride to a hideout, we gonna get different penalties, man. We're gonna punish differently. You may get aiding and abetting, and I'm gonna get murdered. I wonder if they're gonna tell us, if they're gonna go in detail of the incident, because this is literally about an incident. I get all the racial shit, but it's about an incident. I wonder if they're gonna tell us everything about the incident that led to, or that would, justify, or just in the eyes of the school, why they gave the two separate kids different disciplines, and if it was because one was white and one was black, can you tell us what brought you to that conclusion? That they gave disparate disciplines to these two students.
Are caught as well, and they're given to...
According to Elijah, given in-school suspension was white. Elijah kicked out for the same offense.
But what about the other students that are caught as well, and they're given 2 and 3, 4 warnings, whereas Elijah was, he was just, hey, you're expelled. That's it. Go to alternative school.
Elijah's mother says the district then took away resources to help her son's learning disability. The 15-year-old has severe attention deficit hyperactivity.
Okay, so there we go. So if you have severe, I had ADD. I have ADD. I don't have this one, but I have ADD. And it caused me to, be a problem in class. I was more of a, disruptive, clown, sleeping, always disrupting, doing something disruptive in class. This kid has attention deficit hyperactivity, so he's hyperactive too. So this kid's probably got an array of disciplinary incidents on his docket. So this is the first clue. He has ADHD. And he's a Sun man. Mix ADHD hip hop version and shit. The hip hop version of ADHD. In your school.
That's it. Go to alternative school.
Elijah's mother says the district then took away resources to help her son's learning disability. The 15-year-old has severe attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. His education plan requires the district to provide additional help.
For example, in school completing assignments, teachers checking in with him consistently every 15-20 minutes to make sure the assignment's completed. Assignments, teachers checking in with him in school completing assignments, teachers checking in with him consistently every 15-20 minutes to make sure the assignment's completed. In school completing assignments, teachers checking in with him consistently every 15-20 minutes to make sure the assignment's completed.
Instruction at the alternative school mostly online.
So it wasn't really a teaching environment.
According to the governor's Office of Student Achievement, Walton County's black population is 25%, but black students account for 41%, nearly twice.
And listen, there's nothing controversial about this. This is how it is in the world.
As many disciplinary action achievement, Walton County's black population is 25%, but black students account for 41%, nearly twice as many disciplinary actions than their peers.
It was very shocking and
were you really shocked? Like, you've been this ADHD kid with a special learning plan mom all his life. We're in what, middle school now? So let's just say 8 years you've been in school. This kid's been in school. Are you really shocked? Who thinks she's truly shocked? Who thinks she just woke up today and, wow, I got a 14-year-old son. I just beamed here from the moon and I have a 14-year-old son. This is my first day on earth. And oh, wow, he's in trouble at school. Who thinks she's really shocked? Genuinely.
Actions than their peers.
It was very shocking and anger, hurt. I see that this is not just an Elijah thing. It's bigger than this.
Next year, we have an executive order on school discipline policies.
So this isn't just an Elijah thing. It's actually the president. You know, like, think about the narcissism, the first person player bullshit. It's not just my little son in a goddamn rural Georgia school. This has got to do with the fucking president. Okay, fine. Tell us, sister.
An Elijah thing. It's bigger than this.
Next year, we have an executive order on school discipline policies.
President Trump signed an executive order in April critics argue will make things worse. It reverses 2014 federal guidance meant to reduce harsh punishment at schools like...
Yeah, but that made it worse for the other kids. This Obama shit right here, reducing punishments for black kids, made it worse for the other kids. Because now the kid who's bullying your kid, the black kid who's bullying your kid, the black kid who's disrupting the class, the black kids who's bullying the teachers, the black kids who's fighting every day, the black kids who's vandalizing property, the black kids who's just a complete and utter effing jackass, the black kid who's a gangster, wannabe gangster. Now you can't get rid of them. You can't even get rid of them for a week or two, intermittently during the year. He just in your face every day, terrorizing the school because of Obama. Because Obama saw that, more black kids get suspended than white kids. That shows you how much of a cornball Obama really is and how he's not really like a black person. He's not really like an American. He grew up in Hawaii and Indonesia. That just showed how Obama's not really an American. Any American who spent one day in a public school knows that the black kids fight all the time. And the white kids rarely fight, if ever. But in white schools, all white public schools, the white kids may fight more than they do in the mixed schools. But even then, it's rare. It's still like a fight like once every month or something, or maybe once every week. In a school with any amount of black kids, like let's just say 10% or more around the black kids, there's going to be fights every day. And there's going to be fights where the teachers struggle to break them up. The teacher ain't just going to come, hey, stop it, and it's over. No, the teacher's going to have to peel them off of each other. Assaults on teachers are almost like exclusively a black thing. Almost exclusively. Has a white kid assaulted the teacher before? Of course. But assaults on teachers are almost exclusively a black thing. So Obama made it worse. Obama made these last 10 years in schools for teachers and good students and law-abiding students, he made it a fucking living hell for them, dealing with unruly black students.
This is not just an Elijah thing. It's bigger than this.
Next year, we have an executive order on school discipline policies.
President Trump signed an executive order in April critics argue will make things worse. It reverses 2014 federal guidance meant to reduce harsh punishment at schools like expulsions, specifically intended to address racial disparities in discipline. U.S. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon.
Yeah, absolutely, because it gives teachers the authority to have discipline in their classroom and discipline the person who is being disruptive. We took that away.
The executive order titled Reinstating Common Sense School Discipline Policies.
But it's really not common sense at all.
Claire Sherburne is an attorney with the Southern Power.
Claire Sherburne.
School discipline policies.
But it's really not common sense at all.
Claire Sherburne is an attorney with the Southern Poverty Law Center representing Elijah.
I mean, the order ignores decades of research that shows that Black students and other students of color tend to be disciplined more frequently and more harshly than their white counterparts.
Because they do more shit. Everyone knows this, man. Claire Sherburne. You know this, Claire Sherburne. Claire, you know this. No one believes that you don't know that. Now we'll play along with you, and for different reasons. Maybe some black people will play along with you. Yeah, man. Yeah, the man holding us down, and some white people will be like, "Yeah, Claire, you go, Claire. Our Negro pets need all the help they can get." But at the end of the day, Claire, you know, I don't believe for 1 second you don't know that if there's a mixed school, any fucking mix of black and white, that's just not even 50-50. If there's a school with 30% black kids and 70% white kids, and there's 100 fights that year, let's just say it's typical high school, a couple thousand kids, 30% black, 70% white. And we'll lowball it. 100 fights that year. How many do you guys think were between where at least one of the fighters, at least one of the students involved in the fight was black? How many of those 100 fights do you think at least one, or assaults or attacks, whatever you want to call it, because a lot of times they're just assaults and attacks and not even really fights. How many of those do you think at least one of the students was black? Everybody who's been in the real world, like, because Claire's from Mars. Claire's from Mars. We can't we can't go. And shout out to D from Boston. That kid was a problem, and they know it. Of course, they know it. Claire's from Mars. We can't reason with Claire. She got to spend. We got to at least give her a year here on Earth. She just arrived from Mars yesterday. Give her a year to get to experience Earth for a year. Like, I mean, like, come on, man. Black kids fight in school, man. Let's stop this shit, man. Black kids verbally assault teachers. I do admit that it's rare that they physically assault teachers. But when a teacher is physically assaulted, it's a black kid. But black kids always verbally assault teachers. Always disrupt class. Is it every black kid? No, but when a kid is verbally assaulting the teacher and disrupting class, it's a black kid. All Trump did was right or wrong that Obama did. Obama fucked this country up. Obama fucking wrecked this country to its core. And I'll give him credit. He's a great politician, a great statesman. I'm sure he did some good things somewhere. But the fabric of this country, he fucking obliterated it. Shout out to D for Boston. Shout out to Captain Coke. Says she knows she's trying to appeal. It's hilarious. Yeah. This white women are fucking awful, man.
Common sense at all.
Claire Sherburne is an attorney with the Southern Poverty Law Center representing Elijah.
I mean, the order ignores decades of research that shows that Black students and other students of color tend to be disciplined more frequently and more harshly than their white counterparts. Even when they're engaging in the exact same behaviors, they tend to be punished more harshly.
About 6 months after Elijah's parents filed their lawsuit,
You know what they say? Like, right. You know, when you see that last part, even when they're engaging in the exact same behavior. So a fight, right? Fight A with a white kid and fight. No, let's just take girls. Let's not even do guys. Fight A with 2 white girls and fight B with 2 black girls. Is that the exact same behavior? I want to know. Tell me this, guys. Is fight A between 2 white girls and fight B between 2 black girls, are those the exact same behaviors? I want to know. I want to know. Is the fight between Kirsten and Jill, is that going to fit into the same cookie cutter mold as the fight between Quandacia and Lanita? Are those 2 fights going to fit in the same cookie cutter mold? Because they're both fights. I get what she's saying right there. How many people would it take to break up the white fight? Kirsten and Jill. How many school staff members would it take to break up the fight between Kirsten and Jill? He said 1 grown man. Would he even have to? Would he even have to use force? Would he just, Jill, Kirsten, separate now? He probably wouldn't even have to. He probably wouldn't even have to intercede. Jill, Kirsten, stop it. How many staff members would it take to break up a fight between Quandacia and Lanita? How many staff members does it take to break up a fight between Quandacia and Lanita? He said girls like the main one. Oh man. So it's like, yeah, it's like a cell extraction at a state penitentiary. You had to bring in like a whole fucking unit.
About 6 months after Elijah's parents filed their lawsuit alleging discrimination, this video surfaced showing a teacher writing a racial slur in front of the class at the same school district. The district fired the teacher after it went viral. School officials...
And all the kids cheering. We heard that. You should have muted the sound. They should have muted the sound. This is I guarantee you they're not giving us the proper context to this situation.
Suit alleging discrimination. This video surfaced showing a teacher writing a racial slur in front of the class at the same school district. The district fired the teacher after it went viral. School officials issuing a...
And I don't mind the teacher being fired for that. I mean, he's an idiot for doing that. But what was the context? How many black kids were in the class? Was he writing the song lyric? Was he mocking the fact that the black students call each other nigga 1,000 times a day? That's literally the word they use the most. Other than the and a. The third most common word coming out of a black teen's mouth is nigga, behind the and a. Press 1.
Statement writing, the behavior captured in the video does not reflect the values of Walnut Grove High School or the Walton County School District.
I mean, when a teacher feels emboldened to stand in front of a classroom full of students, including black students, while he's on the job and do something like that, it does.
Black students loved it. And here's the thing. What the fuck does that have to do with what we're talking, or this case with this black kid? Because you notice they didn't say the same school. They said this happened in the same school district. So this incident with the teacher writing a hard R on the fucking board didn't even happen at this fucking school. And if it did, what the fuck did that got to do with this kid, this disruptive kid being disciplined, being expelled? Look where they've brought us. Look where they've brought us. When was the last time they talked about the fucking kid? At the 146 mark? And here we are at the 4-minute mark. And they've been talking about everything except everything under the fucking sun.
School district. The district fired the teacher after it went viral. School officials issuing a statement writing, the behavior captured in the video does not reflect the values of Walnut Grove High School or the Walton County School District.
I mean, when a teacher feels emboldened to stand in front of a classroom full of students, including black students, while he's on the job and do something like that, it does say something about the district culture.
He says things to me like, Mommy, why am I so dark? And why am I being treated this way? I just tell him, hey, son, you're beautiful. Your skin is beautiful.
How does it make you feel when he asks you that question?
It hurts. It really hurts.
Yeah, he's sniffing.
A debate on how to address
all night long, all night. Lionel Richie, man. Lionel Richie was bigger than fucking Michael Jackson when I was a kid. I ain't gonna lie. I was born in 78. So by the time I started like being conscious and stuff, Lionel Richie was bigger than Michael Jackson.
Just tell him, hey.
Peep the sad music, man. Peep the sad music, man. Peep the sad music, man. Like this kid, like something happened to this kid. He get to go to an alternative school and be with other kids just like him now.
District culture.
He says things to me like, Mommy, why am I so dark? And why am I being treated this way? I just tell him, hey, son, you're beautiful. Your skin is beautiful.
How does it make you feel when he...
So hold on, wait a second. Did they suspend him because he's dark skinned, or did they suspend him because he's disruptive? Because now they're conflating shit.
He says things to me like, Mommy, why am I so dark? And why am I being treated this way? I just tell him, hey, son, you're beautiful. Your skin is beautiful.
How does it make you feel when he asks you that question?
It hurts. It really hurts.
Yeah, he's sniffing.
A debate on how to address discipline in the classroom. For many students, the consequences are as clear as black and white. Elijah returned to in-person schooling this past year. While the lawsuit against the district is still pending, The state found the district violated multiple rules in handling his case, including failing to properly notify his parents when it changed his education plan. Fulton County Schools says it's unable to comment on his case, but told Atlanta News First investigates that every child deserves a safe, inclusive, and respectful learning.
Of course, that goes without saying. Every child deserves it. Right. But every child doesn't get it because black kids are always fighting and acting like gangsters in the school. What about those kids that don't get it because of the way the black kids act? And I'm not saying that this kid was acting like a gangster, but they expelled him. And we know you're not going to tell us everything that happened. You ain't going to tell us everything that happened. They by the time the story was over, you had it the way they expelled him because he was dark skinned. You intimated that. The way y'all edited it and cut it up, y'all probably interviewed the mom for fucking an hour. The last quote you give us is he feels like he dark skinned and he mistreated because he dark skinned. Like, I mean, like, what the fuck, man? So he got expelled because he's dark skinned. I don't think I'm necessarily dark skinned, but I mean, I'm on the darker side. I ain't light skinned. I ain't brown skin. I'm a little darker than brown skin. Between dark skin and brown skin. I never seen nobody get expelled because they were dark skinned. And if that's the case, why wasn't like if they're being if the person that's gonna make fun of you because you're dark skinned is not a white person? I promise you that. The person that makes fun of you because you're dark skinned, if 100 people make fun of you because you're dark skinned, 100 of them are not going to be white. Maybe some will be Dominican or Puerto Rican or Arab. A lot of them going to be black. But a white person is never going to make fun of you because you're dark skinned. It just doesn't happen. They may make fun of you because you're black. But dark skin is no. That's you'd be glowing. Why, thank you. Yeah, this is absolutely ridiculous, man. This is horse shit.
New tonight, 4 18-year-olds are behind bars after a shooting near Burnsville High School where there was a graduation ceremony. It happened around.
I tried to. I wasn't able to pause it before the graphic came up. But I guess with the cat's out the bag now. But I was going to ask. You know, what did you think the 4 students look like? I was going to ask what did the 4 students look like? This is such a black crime. Shout out to Captain Coke. He says this is ridiculous. Leave people be. Let everyone be free. You can't do that, man. If you let everyone be free, certain groups are going to do better than others. So you gotta tinker with the system to make sure the outcomes try to finagle the outcomes. Let everybody be free, man. All the black people gonna be poor and uneducated. They gotta do shit to help us get educated and get some money and stay out of prison and shit. Look at this shit, man. It's such a black crime. This is the blackest crime that ever fucking exists.
New tonight, 4 18-year-olds are behind bars after a shooting near Burnsville High School where there was a graduation ceremony. It happened around 8:30 last night as people were...
A graduation where they all monkey dance. So inside the graduation, everybody monkey dancing and shit when they get their diploma, doing jigaboo fucking goddamn picking any dances and shit. And then outside, some other niggas that didn't graduate are shooting. God damn.
New tonight, 4 18-year-olds are behind bars after a shooting near Burnsville High School where there was a graduation ceremony. It happened around 8:30 last night as people were leaving the event. It's the second Friday in a row there's been gunfire after a graduation in the metro. Our Renee Cooper is live now in Burnsville with new details. Renee, what are you learning?
Don't let that go over your head.
For a graduation in the metro. There's been gunfire after a graduation in the Friday in a row. There's been gunfire. It's the second Friday in a row there's been gunfire after a graduation in the metro. It's the second Friday in a row there's been gunfire after a graduation in the metro. It's the second Friday in a row there's been gunfire after a graduation in the metro. Our Renee Cooper is live now in Burnsville with new details. Renee, what are you learning?
Yeah, Kellen, the city now clarifying that the shooting happened in the area here. This is Portland Avenue. They say that's where it happened. We are just to the west of Burnsville High School here, giving you a better clue of where this all happened. I'm told that the shooting erupted about 30 minutes after graduation wrapped up.
My granddaughter was in there, and that's what made me scared.
Teresa says she was in her car leaving the ceremony, her granddaughter still inside the high school, when shots rang out.
I was like 2 cars behind somebody, and all of a sudden I seen the police. You know, people were just started running, and then all of a sudden I heard bang, 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 bang.
A MnDOT traffic camera shows police concentrated on Portland Avenue, just west of the high school, where Burnsville police say they got multiple reports of fights and gunshots.
Scary. I jumped out of my car and started running.
Minutes later, Burnsville police arrested 3 18-year-old men. Abdikani Abdulwahab and Abdullahi Ali were booked on suspicion of drive-by shooting.
Well, listen. At least it's not FBAs, man. Shout out to Tariq, man. FBAs is not as off the board. This is who's doing all the crime in America. FBAs is off the hook, man.
Shooting, possession of a dangerous weapon on school property, and carrying a pistol without a permit. The third, Mustafi Omar, arrested on suspicion of trespass.
Jesus, yo. This is not my tribe, man. I'm not claiming this. This is not my tribe. They black, but they not my tribe. They about as different from me as a goddamn Spaniard is to a fucking Czechoslovakian, or a goddamn somebody from Sweden is to somebody from fucking Sicily and shit. This is not my tribe, man. Shout out to the diaspora, though.
Arrested 3 18-year-old men. Abdikani Abdulwahab and Abdullahi Ali were booked on suspicion of drive-by shooting, possession of a dangerous weapon on school property, and carrying a pistol without a permit. The third, Mustafi Omar, arrested on suspicion of trespassing and refusing to leave. And later, just before midnight, the FBI...
He refused to leave? Oh, shit. He might actually be from my tribe. He might be from my tribe. He refused to leave.
and refusing to leave. And later, just before midnight, the FBI arrested Amir Ali on suspicion of possessing or operating a prohibited gun. A city spokesperson confirms all arrests are related to the shooting, but said they could not release any additional information, including whether or not the suspects were a part of the ceremony. This comes a week after a similar shooting followed the Wayzata High School graduation in Minneapolis, where 2 people were hurt. Court documents say investigators don't yet know whether the suspected shooter in that case was inside the graduation ceremony prior to the shooting. Family of graduates in both.
So now the Somalians is turning up. They doing drive-bys at graduations. That's cultural appropriation, man. We started that, man. That's our tradition. Black folk, man. FBA, man. I'm half FBA. So if a biracial person could claim black, I could claim FBA. I'm FBA, man. Graduation shooting disaster stuff, man.
Cases worried about the lasting impact.
I hope it doesn't taint, all of the joy that's coming out and like all these kids, going on to the next stage of life.
It's supposed to be a celebration for everybody. People were celebrating, and then this.
Police say they recovered a single firearm here at the scene. We're expecting to see those formal charges come down early next week. Live in Burnsville tonight, Renee Cooper, 5
Yeah, man. My kid's about to get up, man. Salute to the nation, man. Shout out to the nation, man. Another early morning banger, man. Salute to all you people out there, man. Great show, man. Get in the comment section, hit the like button. Peace. I'm out of here. Subscribe to the channel.